I'm a guy, so I talk cars. Remember 1984? This car came from Yugoslavia. It was going to solve the world's second gas crisis. Mm-hmm. The Yugo. Mm-hmm. Did you see Yugos anymore on the road? No. They're just not around. Bad quality. It was an embarrassment to the car industry. They broke. It was just a horrible car to have. Well, guess what? That's the Yugo. There's a lot of products on the market that try to make a Yugo into a Rolls-Royce. Have you heard of some aftermarket products that make your metallic work? There's one called, I think it's Sower's Aid, silicone gel. As a product, it's fine, but you shouldn't need it. You shouldn't have to buy a Yugo and then buy aftermarket products to make that Yugo work. You've doubled the cost of your Yugo already. You should not need that. Silicone gel is actually it's listed as a toxic substance, but don't worry, a little bit's going to be fine. A lot of it isn't. I know a couple people who tell me that they take their Kona thread they're going to use tomorrow, submerge it in a bucket of silicone gel, so it works the next day. Well, of course it works. It's oil. Now you turn it into a slick oil patch. Of course it'll run through your machine, but it will over-lubricate your machine. It's not really a necessary product. There's a lot of other, what I call tricks, that I hear about all the time to try to make a Yugo work on a metallic thread. Have you heard, spray your metallic with water? No? That's coming. You'll hear it one day. Have you heard to keep it in a Ziploc bag? In the freezer? Unless you're from Minnesota, you don't have to, right? I hear the freezer one. And I ask why, and they say because it hydrates the thread. In a plastic bag. It can't hydrate. A freezer, what's a freezer do? It dehydrates. And I don't know where that came from, but I do know that for somebody's second cousin's twice removed aunt, it works. And if it works, I say fine, because that's what I'm all about, is solving the problem. But you should not have to keep your metallic in a refrigerator or the freezer. One of my favorite ones is where they say, well, they put the metallic spool 30 feet across the room, so by the time it hits my machine, all the kinks are wound out. If that works, good for you. But you shouldn't have to go through all those steps to make your Yugo work. If you start with a Rolls-Royce, you don't need the refrigerator or the freezer or the Ziploc bag or the spray it with water or the 30-foot spindle across the room. It will work. And yard for yard, it's half the cost. Once you know a metallic and find a metallic that works well, you really will save money. You're better off buying a cone versus a spool once you find your favorite thread type. It really will save you about half, whether it's cotton or poly or metallic thread. How many have Yugos in your sewing stash? What are you going to do with them? No. I know you don't throw them away. I'm married to a quilter. In fact, if my wife doesn't quilt every day, I go crazy. I know you don't throw things away. Quilters are hoarders. Here's what you do with them. How many belong to a sewing guild, friendship club, quilt guild? Don't most of us? I know women well enough to know that there's always a lady in the club who kind of rubs you the wrong way. You hope she's not there one day. And I know she frustrates you. Don't you have like a secret friend basket or a anonymous Christmas exchange? Dear Betty, I've been thinking of you. That's what you do with your Yugos. Here's what not to do with your Yugos. Do not donate them to a club, 4-H group, or a school group just to take a great tax write-off. Because if it didn't work for you, it's not going to work for them. So guess what happens? We have this young generation sewer embroider quilter. They choose the most beautiful sparkly thread. The first one they go to is probably the metallic. It didn't work for you. It's not going to work for them. They go through all the frustrations. They're going to give up and say, nah, this isn't for me. And we lost that younger generation. I know you don't throw it away. You're probably not going to give it to that other lady. Put it in the bobbin. You can put a metallic thread in the bobbin. It doesn't go through the tension disc. It doesn't go through the needle. One day you're going to make a quilt that has a black fabric on the back, or maybe a navy blue or a dark color. Put a metallic in the bobbin. Stunning. You'll have a reversible effect on your quilt. There is great use for it. That's all it takes to find a good use for your Yugos.
So you're saying it doesn't tangle or anything, it will just sew on the back?
If it goes through the bobbin, yes. It's right. It's that long path from the spool to the needle that goes through the tension, that goes through the eye of the needle that allows it to twist. If it's in the bobbin, it's not going anywhere. It'll make a, yes.
Is it okay, Bob, to put metallic on the top and have that metallic in the bobbin?
Is it fine to put metallic on top and in the bobbin? You can. It's a little sensitive, but you can do it. I've seen some beautiful Christmas ornaments, like the angels or the snowflakes, that are metallic. They use it with the water-soluble stabilizer. Fantastic.
So it works if you sew slow.
Yes. If you want to make it easier yet, we use a very smooth poly thread, like the bottom line, in the bobbin thread. We match it. We have the gold metallic on top. We have the gold bottom line in the bobbin. And you can't tell where the metallic starts and the polyester ends. It's a nice high sheen or a medium sheen metallic or a medium sheen poly. Looks fantastic.
That's what I always recommend.
That's what we recommend. A smooth bobbin thread with metallic thread. That's the end of chapter 1. You're now metallic thread specialist. So if you're on your way to a PhD in threadology, you just finished 101.